All right, should we go ahead? Has the Kansas Open Meeting Act's required notice been properly provided?
It has.
Okay. And so I will call the meeting to order. And will you guys run a roll call? Okay.
Yes.
Vice Chair Oakes,
Here.
Commissioner Smith,
Here.
Commissioner Daly.
Here.
All right, and Commissioner Cumberland. I don't think he's here today. And then Commissioner Eklund. I don't think they're here today. And then Commissioner Finger
Here.
and Commissioner Rickman.
Here.
Thank you.
Okay. Has everyone had a chance to review the minutes of our last meeting, which was February 18th?
Yes.
And is there a motion to approve the minutes, I'm sorry,
I motion to approve.
and a second?
I second.
All in favor of approving the minutes from February 18th, signify by saying aye or thumbs up, or, when we were Zooming, we were thumbs upping.
Okay.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
And opposed? They have been approved. The minutes from February 18th have been approved by the committee. Public hearing items.
There were none presented at this time.
Okay. Anybody have anything? Okay. Administrative items. Let's find out who we are.
Okay.
And let's introduce ourselves.
We have one new commissioner today, April Rickman, if she wanted to have a moment to introduce herself.
Yeah, I'm April Rickman. I work currently for Independent Connection here in Salina. We serve 9 counties in north central Kansas working with folks with disabilities. I provide a lot of youth services, so a lot of youth-based transition items. I'm also a part of the Leadership Salina class of 2021, and that's me. I lived in Salina since 2016, but I grew up right down the road in Solomon.
Very good. Welcome.
Thank you.
I think that's good. For now, everybody else has been around. And we have some new community relations members.
We do, Commissioner, thank you. We actually have all new, all new members, so I'll take a moment to introduce ourselves. We thank you for being here today. I'm Michelle Martin. I'm the new Community Relations Supervisor. I started part-time August 10th, but not full-time until October 1st to transition out. I had my own law practice last, mostly doing with care and treatments and child in need of care cases and that kind of GAL work. Before that, I was with Catholic Charities as the executive director for about 7 years, and had a few other things on my resume. I won't go back and bore everyone, but my background is law. I'm a practicing an attorney, so I have my law license. I used a lot of that time in social services and also with employment law type issues. So it was a nice transition, and I've been very excited about this new role. It's been a little bit of an undertaking, but they hired some great other individuals there. So in our office, if you go down there, the administrative assistant is Kelly Vera. She's part-time or temporary through the end of the year, and we'll see after that. But she was hired in October. She's our newest employee. The other two are with us here today. We have Spencer Ingermanson. He's a community relations specialist, and he started in August full-time with us, and he will be the clerk for this board and the person that most of you have been talking to as we tried to get things signed and made sure we had our ducks in a row, and we're working on preparing for this meeting. So you've kind of had an introduction to him, but I'll let him talk in just a second. And then we have Marissa Patton. She's the other community relations specialist, and she's down here helping today. She may not always be down here, but since we're all new and this is our first time, we wanted you to meet as many of us as possible. And we thank you for your time, but with that, I'll let Spencer say a couple of words.
Yeah, my name is Spencer Ingermanson, and I grew up here in Salina. I went to both Central and South, and then I went to K-State for a psychology degree. I spent 5 years there, and then I moved to Texas, West Texas, a town called San Angelo, and I studied industrial and organizational psychology, which dealt with employment laws, discrimination, things really closely related to what we do every day in the office. So it relates really well to, my background really does relate. And earlier this year, I moved back here, and I actually just got married, and I'm here in Salina for the time being.
Okay.
And the next individual is Marissa Patton.
Hi, I'm Marissa Patton. I originally grew up in western Kansas and moved to the Salina-McPherson area in about 2013. I went to college at McPherson College for a communication degree and moved to Salina officially in 2016. Previously, I worked at St. Francis as an office coordinator, program assistant, and I just started here as a community relations specialist in August of 2021.
Well, welcome to all of you.
Thank you.
Yes.
All right. Department update, update of what's going on.
It kind of segues nicely into all of us. As you heard, we all kind of started in August. So I officially started full-time August 1st, and we officially opened back up the October 4th. Or let me rephrase that. I officially started full-time October 1st, and we opened the doors October 4th. The office had been closed with COVID and some retirements and everything. The office was unstaffed for a few months, and they worked really hard to get us all back on board. And so our focus has been training, obviously getting everyone trained. That's been the big thing. The other thing is rewriting procedures and updating procedures and policies and trying to become a little bit more mechanized in some things and automated and taking advantage of some different case management things that we could do in the office. So that's been a little bit of the process. As any of you are probably aware, with HUD laws that we do with the housing and the ADA, there's a lot to it. Even if you have some experience in that, I could say we could probably spend our time just reading very lengthy documents. But we've had quite a bit of training. By the end of the year, we should all have completed our HUD certification courses. There are 3 primary courses for your certification, and all 3 of us should have those completed by the end of the year. So training has been a big part of it. Our biggest goal was to get the doors open, and so we were very excited. We've been open for 1 month as of today. It's our anniversary. It's the 4th, so we've been open for a month and starting to communicate more with outside, and that's been really nice. It's been nice to be open, and it's nice to be appreciated and have people come in and say, glad you're open. So we've been enjoying that part of it, getting back and getting our feet under us. Our goal now is to kind of work on a plan for 2022. It's timing is everything with that, and so it's the last quarter. Our goal is to have the community relations director or community and development services director, Lauren Driscoll, to her kind of some plans for 2022, incorporating more outreach and marketing and that kind of stuff. Right now, it was just really focused on internal cleaning of the house, getting policies and procedures, getting the doors open, starting to have, clients again and customers come in. So we hope by the 2022 to be back to normal. We're planning to have the Fair Housing Seminar again that we host for sure. And then other than that, it's a little bit up in the air what our outreach will look like. That's the one we're planning for, and we're looking forward to working with all of you and learning more about what this board does and how we can incorporate that into our master plan for 2022.
Okay.
So.
And we hope to see you at all of you at our next meeting and see for
In person.
faces again.
In person, I hope we can do that. That's one of our big goals.
Very good. The next item on the agenda is election of officers, which is kind of what we did at our last meeting in February. David is no longer part of the board. And so I was the vice chairman elected at the last meeting, so by default, that's why I am here doing this. So we have 2 officers, a chairman and a vice chairman. Do we have nominations for, do we have nominations for officers? Brad, be quiet. That's why I'm here. No, no, and that's okay.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
for the record, I would like to add that it looks like Commissioner Eklund joined us.
Oh,
I can
okay.
see that on, and just to clarify for the record and for roll call purposes, I don't know if he can hear us.
It's she,
It-
it's
oh, she-
Micah.
Micah, sorry.
Hi, Micah.
Hi, I'm here.
Okay,
Okay.
so for the record, I just wanted to note that she joined us.
Okay. And again, we are in the process of taking nominations for chairman of this board.
I think you're doing a great job.
Oh, gee, thanks. And no, that's okay. That's okay.
I believe we provided a study or a report from the staff on that matter, and everyone is eligible except April, who this is her first meeting, so she's not eligible until you've been on for a year to serve in that capacity. And there are some limitations, but no one had served too long. So all of you present today, with the exception of Commissioner Rickman, are eligible to accept either of the roles of chair or vice chair.
Okay, so I believe we have, and she's allowed to nominate.
She is allowed to nominate, that is
We-
correct.
We have
So-
a nomination on the table. I believe we need a second.
That is
on
correct.
that.
A second.
Thank you. All in favor of me continuing on for this calendar year as?
I think you have to close the nominations first.
Okay.
You say, are there any other
Okay.
nominations?
Are there any further nominations? All in favor, we can vote now? Okay. All in favor of me, Lisa Oakes, continuing as chairman of the committee for the calendar year?
Correct.
or less.
Your session runs from November to November. This is
Okay.
our annual meeting, so
Okay.
that it would be for 1 year.
All in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
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 Okay, anyone opposed? Okay, I will continue as chairman. We will now take nominations for vice chairman, and I would like to nominate Margaret as vice chairman. What do you? That's what.
I would second that nomination.
He's very fast.
That's Commissioner Daly, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Any other nominations we can entertain? Okay, we'll take a vote on that. All in favor of Margaret Finger being vice chairman of the board for the coming year, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, so Margaret will be the vice chairman for this coming period of time.
The motion carries.
And just a real quick question. Marissa or Spencer are taking minutes, aren't they?
Correct.
Yeah.
They are.
Okay,
They are.
I just want to make sure.
I was going to ask, so for the first one, April made the motion and Taya seconded, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Preliminary discussion items. I don't see anything on the agenda, and I don't know of any.
Nothing's been proposed and none still is
Okay.
what I show.
In our unfinished and other business was our survey, which we actually worked on quite a bit in February. So I'm not sure, I think it was almost to a point of going to you guys or your previous ones to see how best to send that out.
And I think that's what we were wanting to get a little feedback, since we're all new, to kind of get some feedback from the commission exactly what your ideas were when you created the survey so that we can kind of determine the best way to get it out and who it should go to and some of that. I think it's always missing when you don't have that continuity of individuals. So we wanted the opportunity and to make sure that I think we've made all the corrections that were discussed at the last meeting and the changes. So to have an opportunity to look at it again and provide feedback from the board that we did capture everything correctly when we tried to follow the minutes and everything from the last meeting. So those were the two purposes.
And Margaret has been at all the meetings that we've discussed it. Brad has been at all the meetings that we've discussed it. Ty, I'm not sure if you were at all of them, but you were at the last one for sure. And what we kind of had in mind was just the need for us to get some guidance as to what the primary concerns of people are with regard to accessibility.
Okay.
And that was really what the direction we were trying to go with the survey to help guide us and you in what we were trying to do.
Okay. So just in general, the citizens of the community.
Finger. We also added the ability, we created a list of resources.
Right.
Yes.
In case people weren't aware of the resources that were available in Salina to assist people with disabilities.
And we do have a list of that directory. It looked pretty complete. So we were, if the commission, I don't know what your thoughts were about who to give that to or what your thoughts were with creating it.
As far as just having the ability to hand that out, I think just trying to make it accessible in your office, in your office, in any of the offices, at the fair housing meeting, different things like that, just to let it be known that there are a number of very good resources that people can access.
Okay, so just having it almost like a brochure or handout to distribute at our outreach events and within the office, maybe on the website.
Right.
Okay.
And other disability-related
And
organizations.
Organizations, yeah.
Or somewhere where people would go to get
Yeah,
some kind of help.
In fact,
something.
as far as a brochure or a paper list, each of those organizations that is on it
Would
would get copies of it as well, so that they could share with each other and with their clients to know about those different services.
Okay.
I thought we were originally going to use SurveyMonkey, and then after they finished a survey, have a button for
I want more.
options for resources that they could click on if they were interested.
Okay.
I think the biggest thing we struggled with was how to make citizens of Salina aware that the survey was available. And I only had one thought. Everybody who lives in Salina has City of Salina water, correct?
I'm assuming
I would
that.
say the majority at least.
Yeah. So I don't know if just attaching something or putting something within a monthly bill, making people aware that the survey was available on SurveyMonkey.
Okay.
I don't know. So that's the hard part, because we can't direct this to disabled people directly because we don't know who they are out there.
Correct. So I think
That's the
that
struggle, yeah.
I think that the idea of maybe seeing if there's an insert that can go in the water bill or I do not know. I don't know the protocols here, but it's something that worth looking into and seeing what we can have. And then what you were thinking about the online one, I liked the idea of a button or an attachment. I don't know. I'm not a whiz at SurveyMonkey, but we might be able to find someone that is if you can put some sort of attachment to it.
I think they were referring to the communications department for the city to
Okay.
maybe get some advice on that.
Okay.
Is what I remembered.
Okay. So I don't know if you had the opportunity to look at or to review what was attached as part of the packet, the survey. Were there any corrections that we missed to the survey? Because I know there was a lot of discussion last time, and sometimes that can be tricky, making sure you get all the mentions
And I don't know.
incorporated.
The last time I reviewed it, it looked pretty complete.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure on that. So hopefully by February, we, as a staff, can have a little more to report on
Okay.
what it's been, if it's not already been sent, but at least giving you some updates.
And we had done a work session on it, and then at our last scheduled meeting in February, we worked on it. We put quite a bit of work into it,
Okay.
I felt.
I do too.
So I felt like it was a good survey to do.
Okay.
One of the things, Michelle, that we kind of had struggled with over the past year or so that I'd been on the board is just knowing what the concerns were. And I know that confidentiality is really critical, but when things come through you guys, is it an accessibility issue? Is it an availability issue? Is it, what type of concerns are coming across your guys' desks that maybe we could advise on?
Okay.
Yeah.
So kind of some statistics, not names, but statistics
exactly.
more from our office on what we're seeing.
Yeah.
As the
We've
primary.
gotten 5 calls in the last week on parking at such and such or whatever. Yeah.
We're working on developing, and I think we've come up with some good mechanisms to kind of keep track and get some of that data to collect for our office just in general. So, and I think this type of survey, getting data from that survey will be helpful too. But we are trying to, since we lost historical knowledge, that continuity with a turnover like we had in the office, we're kind of starting a little bit from ground zero to gather data. So we have put some things in place where I hope it just takes a little time to accumulate that.
Well, and like I said,
That'll
was
help you.
Where this idea for the survey came from was just to kind of see what issues are of primary concern that we could advise the city on
Okay.
in this role.
Okay. I appreciate the feedback on that.
Yeah. Anybody else have any strong feelings about, the history of why we did the survey or what is in the survey? I think the survey looks like it's pretty much where we wanted it to be.
Okay.
So now it's just a matter of getting it out there.
And
Yeah.
getting it into SurveyMonkey.
Right.
Yeah,
If you
getting
guys
it-
used SurveyMonkey, did you guys talk about like how you could get it to somebody who didn't have internet access or something
no.
like that? So
Okay.
like maybe there was like a link in the mail out or whatever.
Okay.
But if they needed a paper copy so that somebody could help them, or if they didn't have access to that internet or, whatever. I mean, with COVID, we've been very blessed with like the internet deals
More and more.
Yes.
Yeah, so I know that that's not as much of an issue to some people now, but I think that it still is a big deal. So I think that maybe thinking about how people will access it, do we need large print copies? Do we need paper copies? And who do they contact for those?
Okay.
Do they contact your office? Can they just call, if it goes in their water bill and they call the water department, they're going to be like, what? What are you talking about? Like just so it's available in alternative formats it would be my one concern, I would
Okay.
think.
I think those are good points. And again, I think the planning process was that the city's communications folks were going to need to have a say in it.
Okay.
Yeah. Is what I recall.
Okay.
Me too.
Working with the communications team. All right. Are there any other things? I've tried to take a few notes on that too, so we could move forward before our next meeting.
Is there anything else that anybody would like to make changes on the survey or discuss about the survey? I really think we
think we
did
discussed
pretty.
it a lot.
Yeah, I think we did a
We
pretty
worked a lot
good
on it.
job
Okay.
on it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. The next item on the agenda is rescheduling of a study session. the study session was predominantly with regard to the survey, was what we had done. But we need to reschedule the training session, don't we?
Yes, and that is the study session, is
Okay.
the training session. The city has to do training at least once a year to kind of, for all its boards and commissions to be in compliance. It's mostly CORA and COMA, the Open Records Act and the Open Meetings Act, and kind of an overview of the department. And so that's what the study session is, that training. And we have to have a quorum to hold it. Those study sessions are in person. We can't count individuals. They're not open with the Zoom on that portion of it. So we were wanting to get a date before the end of the year if we could. Our next regular meeting isn't set till like February. I don't remember what date in February. I want to say around the 4th, but I didn't bring that date with me. But we are trying to get all those trainings done, and they like to have those done by the end of the year.
Do you have some
Available dates?
available? Yeah.
I did bring some available dates that I could suggest, because it has to, since it's in this room, I had to bring the calendar for this room because it's a very popular room in the city. There are a lot of meetings and a lot of boards. So Thursdays are typically a good day. I don't know what your calendars are like or what you're looking at. Mondays and Tuesdays are pretty booked days in here. So I was looking at either a Thursday or a Friday afternoon.
I can only come Thursdays.
Okay.
Because of my
Well, that
job.
makes it easy.
Yeah.
That makes it easy. We're looking at a Thursday.
Okay.
So, and most, I was looking here, most of the Thursdays, the 4 o'clock to 5 o'clock is taken. It's planning, BZA, which is the Board of Zoning, I believe. The BZA is the Board of Zoning and Appeals. So you just never know for sure how long another meeting's going to be done, but it appears that, they're scheduled at 4, except on the days that we have our meetings, they're pretty much scheduled at 4 o'clock that day. So it looks like if we set something a little bit later, or if we set something before that 4 o'clock time frame. This training, we anticipate an hour. It may be a little bit less, but the training that we would do, this overview training we're doing, it's one that we're doing, our department, the Community Services and Development Services Department, where we're a division of, they have 8 boards and commissions. So it's what we've created for all those boards and commissions to be compliant on CORA and COMA and make sure we're meeting those ethics and talking about the ethics policies and all of that. So that's what it is. It's less than an hour, depending on questions, but
Is it something that would need to be specific to the Accessibility Advisory Board, or could members attend a different board?
we are required to have the board as a body
Okay.
do it, and that's why we have to have the quorum and those other requirements with it. So it
Okay.
has to be, each board was
Okay.
do it. We can't do it on an individual basis. So I don't know, it looks like every day, those are the times, the 4 o'clock time slot, but any other time on Thursdays we could do. I don't know what works for this committee.
My schedule is very open, so I'm going to defer to others as to their preferences.
My schedule Thursday's open.
Okay.
As long as I know ahead of time.
Tell me when I'm
Yes.
supposed to be here.
Tell me when I'm supposed
Tell
to.
me when I'm supposed to be
I can't do a Thursday until December.
Okay.
I can do Thursday the 2nd or the
Okay.
9th or the 16th.
Thursday the
I'd like to do a 3 to 4 o'clock one.
Okay.
Okay?
That works.
So we have the Thursday, the 9th, or Thursday, the 16th of December at 3 o'clock. And the room is open either of those times.
Let's do the 9th.
Okay.
Can we do the 9th?
Thursday, December 9th at 3 o'clock.
And-
For the study session.
Okay, and Spencer, will you send us out emails reminding us of that as well?
Yes, ma'am, I will.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, please.
It will be posted and notified just like a normal,
Always good.
all meetings,
Okay.
public records compliant. So even though it's a study session, we have to follow that. It is not generally taped, and I'm not sure if their minutes are required. If they are, we will do them, but I know that it's not generally taped, so.
Okay. And then, before we go to public forum, well, I'm sorry, there is on the agenda a concern brought up by Margaret about safety concerns on gutter openings, and I'll let you discuss that a bit.
I walk throughout my neighborhood. I trying to extend my lifespan, and there are a few gutters in my neighborhood that have no covering. And I noticed that when they worked on the intersection at Crawford and Lewis, they covered the giant gutter there with a grate, so you can basically tap dance on it and you're good. There's two on the walk I do, and I normally don't have any issues finding them with my cane, but when the leaves build up, by about this time of the year when I'm walking down Pearl, the leaves are up to my knees when I'm walking. And sometimes it's difficult to locate the opening of the gutters with the tip of my cane if they're stuffed full with leaves. I did fall once. It was 2 or 3 years ago. Luckily, yeah, my forefoot hit that part where it slants down, and I tried to step back, and it spun me around, and I landed right on my butt. But luckily, even though I'm a grandma, my bone density's good, so all it hurt was my pride. You know, it's just something I have to be very careful of. And I just feel like I'm probably not the only person that would be an issue to.
Sure.
And I'm hoping, they did some work, like I said, on Crawford and Lewis. They also did some work on the corner of McAdams and Roach, where the curb was like busted and stuff. So I'm hoping that this is on the city's plan, like down the road, but I just thought I would bring it up.
And I was trying to gather from the pictures you shared with me a little bit, how many were you talking about? Because I know you had a lot of pictures there, so there were two.
Yeah,
that you
there's
were-
two. There's
two
one,
on your
there's
path.
one on Lewis between McAdams and Crawford, and there's one on Pearl between McAdams and Republic.
So one on, I want to write this down right so I can follow up on it. One on Lewis between
Between McAdams and Crawford.
McAdams and Crawford.
And
Okay.
there's one on Pearl between McAdams and Republic. I tried to map out an area through my neighborhood that the streets are a little bit quieter. Although when I cross McAdams, I say, may the Lord will and the creek not rise, because when those high school students get out, it's like Grand Prix.
Yes.
Anyway, so I have to cross that, but,
Yeah.
so I tried to make, quieter streets. There are no sidewalks, so I either walk in the girder or
Okay.
the road or the,
That is not the only place where those, I mean, right in front of our house, there is
Okay.
one, and we don't have sidewalks either. So it would be a similar situation. So
Okay.
there are others in town, whether possibly the city roads or public works people have a plan on those, or, yeah.
Well, and that's something that we'll have to follow up on a little bit, but I wanted to at least make sure if we got it on the agenda, then it could be something that we can add back to the agenda item next time. But given kind of when it came in as a concern, that was where we could add it, and then we can add it, I think, to a new business discussion next time.
Good.
And they give us an opportunity to kind of find out, because I'm new enough, and we're all new enough that we weren't sure where to start. Like, I think it's engineering or public works, but I think
wasn't sure
engineering.
either.
I think it's engineering that does that kind of planning in coordination with, obviously, this group a little bit too, but they're the ones that actually are responsible, I think, for the design of the streets and that, so forth.
Next item on the agenda is a time for public forum. Anyone have any, are we hearing anything from anybody?
We do not have anyone, and I don't see that there's anyone raise their hand online either. It doesn't appear there doesn't appear to be anyone for the record. I would have one item maybe to bring up just as a discussion a little bit. In general, we wanted to follow up on the board books that we maintain or have maintained for your offices and inquire if you are interested in us not maintaining the board books themselves, the bring down here every time and so forth. I don't think anyone uses them in between the meetings. They kind of stay in our area. If we could provide a way, we provide those packets online, and then we provide them, we have the ones for people when we know they're going to be here. We always make sure there's a packet available for all commissioners here. And then as far as like the material, that you're given when you're training, the Coracoma handbook and all of that stuff, we could make that available to online and just have it if you need it and need any of that in advance, and have a book with that information down here. Instead of maintaining 9 books plus the staff books, we could keep that core stuff here that we need for, the bylaws, the ordinances that establish the ABA or AAB, and those types of things, those core, what I want to say, governance documents, we could keep in a book down here and not maintain 9 binders that I'm not sure are used.
Could we have one binder for the
That-
board? For example, going back and looking at our survey questions and
Yeah,
things like that.
yes, and we can do that. That's what I anticipate, as we'd probably keep 2 for the office staff and bring one that would be up on the dais during the meeting. We keep one back here instead of maintaining 9 to 11 of them.
That seems reasonable.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think so, to save some trees. and-
Okay. Well, we wanted to make sure that was acceptable to the commission. If you found them useful and you wanted your own, we would certainly, comply with that. But if everyone was agreeable, it would be, I think it would save some trees if we didn't.
If we do get to the point where you guys have emailed out information, could we get a Wi-Fi code or anything so that we could like bring our iPads and
Oh,
look at them?
you know what? That is something I think is doable. I know that there's a Wi-Fi code down here, because when I
Okay.
appeared in court just down the hall, I had a Wi-Fi code, so I think it's doable. And I could log into that Wi-Fi code at least, and it spread throughout several of the rooms, so I bet that's very doable.
I was looking to see
bring.
if we had any big handouts this time, and I did not find it on my email, but I thought, well, I guess if I download them here at home, maybe I can access them there, but
Yeah.
yeah.
And we'll try and have those packets available here, but I know like the resolutions and that kind of stuff, that a lot of people kept those in their board books, and, we could just have one set up there, I think
Sure.
would be, I don't think we use them a ton, but they're always important to have at the
Okay.
meeting. So,
Okay. Do we need to vote on that?
no,
Okay.
that was just a public discussion, kind
Clerical
of,
discussion, yeah. Okay. Before we adjourn, I want to confirm our next meeting, scheduled meeting is in February, the first Thursday of February.
yes, and pardon me just a second, if you can, what did you look at? Thank you. February 3rd.
3 o'clock?
Yes, that
Okay.
is the set time.
Okay.
And we will, in a minute, there will also be the special meeting and the special study session on December 9th.
Correct.
At 3 o'clock.
Correct. Okay. Is there anything else anybody has at this point? So I will open it up for a motion for adjournment.
I'll motion.
Okay, and a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Motion,
Commission-
second.
So Commissioner Rickman motioned and Commissioner Smith seconded.
Okay. Recommending that we adjourn the meeting. All in favor, say aye.
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 He thumbs up.
Oh,
Okay.
so thumbs up.
All opposed, say, let it say aye.
Same sign.
Okay, same sign. Meeting is adjourned.
Thank you.